Welcome back. In this next horror, we'll be telling you a story about Poveglia Island in Venice, Italy. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Poveglia Island sits in the Venetian Lagoon like a corpse that Venice never buried, cut off between Venice and Lido, broken into separate pieces of land. It once held buildings, a fort, a bell tower, quarantine structures, and later hospital wards. But today it is abandoned, overgrown, and mostly closed to the public because the ruins are unsafe. Its nightmare began long before the ghost stories. After the War of Chioggia in 1379, the island was deserted, and by the late 1700s it was pulled into Venice's plague control system. In 1776 it came under the Public Health Office, and in 1793, after plague cases were found on incoming ships, Poveglia became a place where the infected were taken away from the living world. For many, being sent there meant one thing: you were not going to recover. You were being delivered to death. The island's soil carries the terror of what happened there. Historical accounts confirm Poveglia was used as a quarantine station, a lazaretto, and a place tied to plague isolation. But the legends go even darker. Locals and paranormal stories claim the ground is mixed with human ash, that mass graves were filled with plague victims, and that the dead were burned or buried in pits until the island itself became a graveyard. These numbers are debated, and the most extreme claims are not fully proven. But the horror does not need exaggeration. People were isolated there, suffered there, and died there away from their families, their homes, and their final prayers. At night, the legend says the island does not go silent. It breathes. The wind slips through the broken hospital windows like the last breath of the infected, and the weeds crawl over the ruins like fingers, trying to drag the dead back out of the earth. Then came the asylum era, and Poveglia's nightmare found a new voice. In the 20th century, the island's buildings were used as a psychiatric hospital and later a long-term care facility, with the hospital era ending before the island finally closed in 1968. Around this period, the darkest legends were born. Patients whispering that they saw plague ghosts standing at the foot of their beds, shadows moving through the wards, cries echoing from empty rooms, and figures watching from the bell tower. One infamous legend says a doctor tortured patients and performed cruel experiments before being driven mad by the spirits of the island. The story is not proven, but it has become part of Poveglia's demonic reputation. The tale says he climbed the tower, saw what had been waiting for him, and fell, not into death, but into the island's curse. Poveglia is not just abandoned. It feels rejected by God. Visitors and ghost hunters who claim to have reached the island describe a crushing atmosphere, strange sounds, shadowy figures near the buildings, and the feeling of being watched by something hateful and ancient. The official truth is that Poveglia is dangerous because of its decaying structures, collapsed ceilings, and isolation. The supernatural truth, according to believers, is far worse. That the island is a spiritual wound, a place where death happens so often that it stopped being an event and became the island's identity. When darkness falls, the bell tower stands like a rotten tooth against the moon. The hospital corridors turn black, and the lagoon carries sounds that should not exist. Whispers, footsteps, distant screams, and the hollow ringing of a bell that no living hand is pulling.
Thank you for your support. And thank you for tuning into the darkest horror stories of your life. Some of the stories are based on true events or experiences. Please do us a favor. If you could hit like, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. Never listen alone, and stay tuned for a new horrors and stories.